Very good afternoon to you from the sport desk. So the Springboks Rugby World Cup title defense is back in action this weekend, and Jacques Nienaber has confirmed the squad to take on host France in the quarterfinals on Sunday night. Nienaber went with the experience for the Le Bleu clash, with 8 of Sunday's starting 15 having started in that 32 victory over England in the final 4 years ago. Meanwhile, Le Bleu will welcome the return of skipper Antoine Dupont just 24 days after fracturing his jaw against Namibia in Marseille. And for more on this, we are joined by eNCA reporter Percivale Young, live from Paris. Percy, thank you so much for your time. I know it's been a very, very busy day for you. We already know what the teams look like for both sides. I also know that you attended the press conferences of the respective teams this morning. What stood out for you from the two sides and what they said this morning?
Yes, good afternoon, Nsako. I can tell you I'm live here at Roland Garros, the home of tennis here in France. And I can tell you, Nsako, while my colleague is showing live visuals here from this spectacular venue, they're currently hosting a student event for international students here at Roland Garros. Like I said, it's the home of tennis here in France. But at the same time, while all these students are enjoying the privileges of Roland Garros, it is also the venue where the Springboks and the host nation France are hosting their press conferences ahead of that big clash on Sunday. Now, obviously, Nsako, there are 2 matches happening this weekend here in Paris at Stade de Francais. It's obviously New Zealand hosting Ireland in the first quarterfinal clash, and then it's that big match. It's the Springboks facing off against the host nations Le Bleu. The mood in the camp, you're asking me, I can sense there's a bit of tenseness on both sides. Obviously, Siya Kolisi saying they know exactly what is coming their way when they face 23 players in the French blue side. But they're not only facing a French side, they're actually facing an entire nation in that quarterfinal clash. Siya and his team hoping to advance to make it to the semi-final and to even take it one step further to claim a record 4th title, while France, the host nations, they are aiming for their first World Cup title. But first things first, both sides will have to get past that quarterfinal match that comes on Sunday at 9 p.m.
Yeah, and you know, Percy, Jacques Nienaber has gone with a very experienced team with a few surprise selections. When you speak of experience, 19 of the guys in this 23 did and have won a World Cup before. But has he explained some of the reasons for those surprise selections that we speak of?
One of the biggest talking points in Nsako is obviously the selection of Manie Libbok at fly-off and of Kobus Reinach at scrum-off number 9, ahead of a more experienced Handré Pollard who's on the bench, and Faf de Klerk, both players who've won a World Cup in 2019 in Japan, yet they are coming off the bench. The reasoning behind that is that Jacques Nienaber reckons Manie Libbok is the more informed player. We all know that Handré Pollard joined the squad much later than the rest of the squad, but his experience and his goal kicking will probably be very important come Sunday if things does not go South Africa's way in the first 40 minutes or in the biggest part of the 80 minutes against this French side. He says they are comfortable with this experienced players. In fact, the captain, Siya Kolisi, says he's a much comfortable captain knowing that he's got at least 15 of the players in this 23 who've played in the World Cup to run onto the field at Stade de Francais on Sunday with him. And in fact, let's just listen to what Siya Kolisi had to say about the team that's been selected to face off against Le Bleu on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I think our coaching staff has been amazing in prep long before the World Cup. You know, they planned for different scenarios. So whenever we get to the stage, you know, they would have kind of prepared us to where we need to go. But I think as players, not a lot changes. The way we prepare doesn't change, but it's the same as in our pool games. If we didn't win against Tonga, we wouldn't be here today. So it's always good to feel that kind of pressure before. And a lot of this team has been here before, so we have no excuse because I think 90% of our team played in the last World Cup. So there's no excuse. We can't be making excuses and say, oh, it's a big game, we haven't been here before. We know what it feels like, and we've been here before. So we'll draw a lot of confidence from that, and also confident the guys that haven't been here before won't have to wonder because they've got people next to them who've been here and stood this challenge before.
Right, Percy, very, very confident to see our Kolisi there ahead of that match on Sunday against France, where the Springboks will be taking on the host nation in the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup.